figure it out.
Yeah. Okay. We're recording. Is it episode 15? Oh my god. Oh shit. Is it episode 15? Is that what it is?
All right, how's it going? How's it going, everybody? Episode 15 of the Erick and Brad Show. ErickandBradShow@gmail.com. ErickandBradShow@gmail.com. What up, Penny Lane?
How you doing, buddy? Oh, the puppy's saying hi. Isn't she giant? How big she's
She is
getting.
giant.
That's a nice mask you got there, buddy.
Thanks. This is nice. I'm gonna do every show like this.
Yeah. Is that your Antifa mask? We don't know. The anonymous mask. That's what I was looking for.
It's my COVID mask.
Oh, yeah.
I'm trying to keep you safe from me and me safe from you.
There's not enough distance between us already. We need that.
Right.
We need that.
Thank you so much for finding us, whether you're watching or listening, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, ErickandBradShow@gmail.com, ErickandBradShow@gmail.com. That's one thing. I think people need to start bringing up the topic of masks more, and we need more discussions about it. I think there's 330 million people in this country. I want to hear what every single person thinks about masks. We should just...
I think there's a lot of talk about masks going on in the world.
We could use more. People talking
totally
about
disagree. Hey.
masks.
Hey, stop it. Okay, I got her too excited now. Now she's all up in my shit. Yeah, dude, are you watching news right now? You on the news train? No, you're not. Have you been hearing what's going on in Portland?
No, but I keep hearing people post about it.
Oh, yeah, because it's going, I'm not on Facebook, so I'm a little out there. And as far as TikTok, when the Floyd protests were going on, there was a lot of TikTok action. I was actually kind of bummed because I've been preaching forever that TikTok was the way to get away from all this shit. But there was quite a bit on TikTok, like riots and stuff like that. But the Portland thing is, I haven't seen shit on TikTok about Portland. But, about halfway through the week, the girlfriend keeps fucking throwing on the news, and I keep turning around getting pissed. But, I didn't even know this was really happening until about the beginning of the week, that Portland was still protesting. I didn't even know that was a thing. I thought it all just kind of simmered down, and now they're trying to take over the courthouse and fucking... But that's really what I wanted to talk about is, if I hadn't have... It's funny. I mean, I'm in Portland. I'm not downtown. I never go downtown. There's no fucking reason to go downtown. You know what I mean? But I'm close. And I'm driving, and a lot of people I know are around here. If it wasn't for the news, no one would know. All my neighbors, you know what I mean? No one's even talking about it. It's not a big fucking thing, except it's on every fucking newspaper across the nation. And I think it's funny. Isn't that, kind of funny to you? That in the town it's actually happening in, no one even gives a shit, except for the fucking 400 people downtown, and then the rest of the country.
Yeah, that's just craziness. It's just, it's good headlines, good clickbait, good fucking magazine sellers for the rest of the country. But yeah, like you said, you're 10, 20, 30 miles away from it. And don't
if
even
that,
know
I'm about 15 miles away from downtown, and you don't hear shit. And I even live in a minority, driven neighborhood. You know what I mean? I'm surrounded by a lot of Mexicans, a lot of black people, and nothing, not a fucking single BLM sign around here. Nothing. Everyone's super friendly. Fucking, I did go out when we did our last episode. Was it our last episode? I did kind of feel weird for a second because I kind of forgot about it, and I'm in this racial kind of neighborhood, and then I go out and I'm smoking a cigarette, and people are passing me, and I'm like, I wonder if they take a lot of offense to this fucking rebel flag or Confederate flag. You remember that on my shirt?
Yeah.
Now I feel weird about wearing it outside. I'm like, God damn it, it's just going to bring attention that I really don't want.
Don't wear it. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. I think that it is a thing is ridiculous. Who gives a shit? Yeah, I don't know. To me, I would have never have looked at it that way unless people had made such a big deal about it. I was like, okay.
Well, yeah, me too. I mean, I just think I don't know. It's like you lost the war.
Yeah, but
it's not a real country.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna die on any hill on the Confederate flag hill, like at all.
Right.
It's just silly to me. It's like I never even. Yeah. I don't know. It kind of was like a sign of like being a fucking hick to me. That was like always what it
Yeah.
was growing up. Was like, oh, you're a hick. Like there was no hate,
Yeah.
there's no race really involved in that, and now there is. Now there's,
Yeah. Yeah, it's like you wouldn't even pay it any mind.
yeah.
You'd
I'd
see
just
it.
be like,
You'd
oh,
see it places, and yeah, I don't
yeah.
know.
But now it's
It
a
means
thing.
that person probably likes guns and drinking.
Yeah, which usually is something I'll like stand up and die for because I hate censorship. I hate like people making everything racial and stuff like that. But I just it's like you goddamn people just didn't. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I said last week that I wasn't going to go back to the theater for these free movies.
Oh,
then
and
I
you
think
did.
They got me.
They got
No,
you.
I haven't yet.
Oh.
I haven't yet, but they posted what the new movies would be for the next week, and I think they got me with Saving Private Ryan.
That's weird. I got yelled at when I was on vacation by my brother because he was wearing a shirt that said "Don." Do you know what I'm going for? Fubar.
Yeah.
Yeah. What does that mean?
It's just supposed to mean fucked up beyond all recognition.
Yeah.
I think it's just a
Or
dumb
beyond
thing.
repair. Is that it? Fucked up beyond all repair.
Oh yeah, recognition, repair.
Yeah. I asked he was wearing a Fubar shirt, and I'm like, is that a soccer shirt? I don't know. To me, it seemed like a soccer thing. Fubar. It sounded like a European soccer thing. I don't know, like United Emirates, something they would
FIFA?
wear. I just I don't know, something you'd see in soccer, and he fucking was pissed. He's like, fucking Saving Private Ryan, and I'm just like, okay, like I don't really like war movies, not into war movies. All of them kind of suck. They're all
No, they don't all suck. It's like, and it's like the only Tom Hanks movie that it's like I like a lot. But it's like, why do I have to go? I'm not excited at all.
there's no way
But I feel like
that
I have to go
there's no way that movie's better than Forrest Gump. Forrest Gump is the best movie he ever
easily. No,
did. What? You disagree with
No,
that? Forrest Gump was such a good movie.
they had it there, and I was like, fuck that. I'm not going sitting through that.
Forrest Gump?
Yeah.
Well, I wouldn't either. Like, I wouldn't do that either.
Right.
But it's his best movie.
I don't think so. I don't like it. I think
It'll-
Apollo 13 and Saving Private Ryan.
It'll
are
go
Forrest
down in
Gump.
history as his most famous movie, hands down.
Ugh.
That'll
I'll
stand the
never
test
watch
of
it
time.
again. Ugh,
I
God.
disagree
I
with
don't.
you.
I mean, it's just like I feel like I have to go back, so I'm gonna go back.
You know, you said
I'll
last.
report back.
You said last week that it was going to be a hard day today, but you're really bringing the negativity this week. I'll tell you what.
Sorry. So speaking of negativity, and last week, I had a lot of talks this week about alcohol and drinking, and
Oh, my
I was
God.
taking some heat.
Yeah,
Taking some
goddamn
heat.
right, you're taking some heat.
So, and a lot of talk about your consumption issues and stuff like that. And and you say that you don't have any problems or anything like that. Is that right?
No, I have no problem.
No.
I've seen people with problems, and I don't have a fucking problem.
Okay. You don't want to like maybe take a break from the show for some time and like check in somewhere,
No.
and just clean out.
Do you
I've
think?
been looking.
Do you think I have a problem?
There's a lot of. I mean, it's you. It's on you to admit that.
I don't have a problem.
I've been. Okay.
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna isolate that audio. I've been looking at a lot of really nice places that they have around
Around here? Yeah, there's a lot of them.
They say, like, you check in anywhere from a few weeks to a few months. A lot of them are fucking really nice. I'm trying to take the show to another level, so I'm thinking maybe maybe I'll do it by myself for a while. You come back and just share all about the experience. I don't know.
That sounds like the worst thing on the planet. Worst thing on the planet. Sounds horrible. I would kill someone in one of those. That's like okay,
No.
to go back a little bit in last episode. So with the story I told last week, I ended up in jail, and for shit, you're in jail and there's nothing to fucking do. It was the worst 3 days of my life. I had to go sit in jail for 3 days. bored out of your fucking gourd, and they wouldn't put me in general population. Well, then the little cop walks by and he's like, "Hey, we're doing NA meetings, and anyone want to, you know?" And I was like, "Fuck that!" And all the guys in my room were like, "No, dude, we're sitting in this room all day, every day. If they fucking tell you to go, that there's something to do, go fucking do it." And I was like, "Okay, whatever." So at least something to go do. It was the worst experience of my life. It was the only time I've gone to any kind of anything like that, any kind of AA or NA or support group. I wanted to kill myself. That was the worst thing I've ever heard. It was just Jesus, 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 Jesus.
Oh,
it was
wow.
It was horrible.
Yeah.
It was horrible. It was you know what I really hate about that? And I know that like what you're talking about, like a clean
Yeah.
what's the word I'm trying to think of?
I don't know. It's like an alcoholic rehab. It's
A rehab
facility.
place,
Yeah.
but our detox facility. Yeah. It would I'm sure is a little different than AA. You know what I mean?
Well,
But
yeah, it's a lot different than bottom of the barrel fucking jail cell.
well, no. But
Jesus.
even AA is that way. You know what I mean? AA fucking, you know, it's
Well,
in their
yeah.
top 6 fucking things you have to admit to God or you know, whatever, like blah, blah, blah.
No, you just like admit that there's a higher power or something like that. Not necessarily God and Jesus, but that like there's a higher power.
I mean,
and then
they
so we're gonna take
say
a month.
that. They say that stuff just to cover their ass with the atheist community. But like if you talk to any recovered fucking person ever, is exactly why I would never clean myself up. Because I'm scared to become one of those fucking people. They're the worst fucking people on the planet. Oh, I hate them. I hate them so much. Just, I can't deal with it. They're so bad. They're so irritating.
There's plenty of good people out there, and maybe we should
Coming
have a
from
guest
you.
on.
Coming from you. You're like their fucking, hey, everybody fucking spokesman, and now you're coming at me.
Well, like this radio show that I love and, you know, listen to like a insane addict, if you will. The main guy is just like, he's an AA and he's a recovering alcoholic or whatever, and he's a great guy and he's an atheist. And then like Jim Norton, and I respect Jim Norton a lot, the comedian, he is as well. He wouldn't say he's like a religious person, but he's fucking 30
If
years
either
sober
of those
some shit.
guys came on, because they're like relative, the first guy I don't know who you're talking about, but I know who Jim Norton is. He would fucking tell you, yeah, there is a huge group of recovered people. It's like the same group of people that get out of prison. And you get these dudes that just did 10 years in prison, and they get out and they found Jesus.
Yeah.
And they're still pieces of shit. But now they're doing it in like, what I was originally getting at, but then I just kind of got worked up about, you know, the AA thing, is my biggest problem with all these people is, to me, they give up, they don't take personal responsibility for their own actions. And I hate that. All those people do that. And they're just like, you know, it's all like God's, you know, it's God's plan, God, blah, 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 blah. They always are like, you know, I hate when they do something shitty and they won't fess up to it. And then I hate when they do something good and they won't take credit for it. It's like, no, you did that. You did that shit. Why are you giving God fucking... No, you did that. You took the steps.
Yeah.
You clean yourself up. I can't stand any of that. I would never go.
I agree with that.
I would never go.
I'm well on record. I'm on record, you know, I'm well documented saying shit like that. Like, you know, the quarterback who has an amazing game and wins the Super Bowl is like, you know, that wasn't me. That was God out there. He gave me all my talent. He did all this stuff. And it's like, dude, you give yourself a little credit here, man. Like, you did a lot of fucking work. You put in a lot of time.
Yeah.
Like, you spent your whole life. But I'm just gonna keep bringing this up every few shows, and we'll just keep working this, you know, working this angle. I think maybe we should have a guest on or something like that.
An AA guest?
Yeah.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
I saw something
I have
on
a few
TikTok.
buddies that are
I
super
saw something on TikTok that was like, you know, this is how many drinks is too many for a guy a week.
Okay.
And this is how many drinks are too many for a girl a week.
Okay.
Like, it's
That's
different.
sexist. That is fucking sexist.
Well, no, it's not. It's fucking...
Okay, tell me. Lay it on me. Lay it on me.
I don't remember the exact number. I'm going to look it up.
Approximately.
It was maybe like 9 for a guy or something
9
like
drinks
that.
a week is too much drinks.
Or 9 or 12 or something. It was real low, and I'm like, oh
You know,
my
like
god.
Italian people, like that's part of their culture to just like have a glass of wine with dinner every night. You know what I mean? Even the kids
Right.
drink. Like you can be 8-year-old kid, you're gonna get a glass of wine at like a traditional Italian family.
So that'd be 7 drinks a week.
Okay, yeah, I'm sure they get two. You know, all the adults are getting two, so
Oh,
they're.
okay. So I don't know. I was just, there was a lot of discussions happening this past
Do
week.
other
That's all.
people think that I have problems?
I can't remember.
Okay, okay.
I mean, it says consuming 7 or more drinks per week is considered excessive for women, and 15 drinks or more per week is deemed to be excessive or heavy for men. So there we
Yeah,
go. So
yeah.
we are far south of the fucking excess or north of the excessive lines
Okay, okay,
on this show. Well, half of the show.
okay, okay.
So
Whatever.
yeah, uh, it's
Um.
entertaining for me.
So, we've touched on this before, but I got way into it this week with someone, and hopefully we're not going to beat a dead horse with this at all, because I think we've kind of delved into this episodes and episodes ago. But I didn't tell the story, but about a year ago, so I think it was in the summertime. I was driving southbound on I-5. I was going from Olympia, Washington, which is kind of like close to Seattle a little bit, and I
Hmm.
was heading southbound. I'd just gotten off work, and I was heading back home. Usually I'd stay
Was
in
it
a
a car
hotel room.
accident?
What? No, no, no,
Oh,
no, no.
okay.
Okay,
Okay.
so I'm heading southbound, and I've been driving like an hour, and sun's like just about going down. So it must have not been midsummer. I don't know, but it was like 7:30 at night, and it's like dusk, like after dusk, like it's just like that slight little bit on the horizon of light, but it's getting dark.
Fuck
And
yeah. Yeah.
I'm driving southbound, and I'm in the fast lane because it's like a 2-hour trip back to Portland from Olympia. Cruise control at like 90. I'm just blazing in the fast lane, just blazing.
Jesus.
And everyone does. Everyone between Seattle and Portland, everyone speeds. Everyone, the cop speed,
Okay.
everyone speeds. Um, I'm doing 90, about 5 to 10 miles over what everyone else is doing. But there's a line in my lane, and I'm like the head of head of the left lane, and fucking I look up, and like coming straight at me, like 100 feet. I don't know. It was so weird because there wasn't okay. So it wasn't that dark because it was only like 3 stars out. You know what I mean? Like just like you could only see the bright ones, and then there was like this
Hmm.
perfect fucking triangle, like a perfect geometrically perfect triangle. And I start freaking, and I'm like, look at it, and I'm like, huh, well that's cool. And then as I'm driving, like a half a mile down the road, I notice because of a star, like like a star behind the triangle, I noticed that
Hmm.
it's not a star because they're moving away from each other. You know what I mean? So they're not. You know what I mean? Something's obviously closer to me. Either that one
Oh.
dot is closer to me. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
it's not
Yes.
a
Yes.
star
Yes.
because it's moving away from the other star, but the triangle's
Yeah.
staying perfect.
Hmm.
And like after about 5 minutes, I'm like, oh my god, I'm seeing aliens right now. Like this is what's
Hmm.
happening, and it's heading like straight fucking towards me. It was trippy as fuck. It was a perfect triangle, and it's just moving towards me, and I almost get in like a hardcore accident because I'm like, yeah, I'm now
Yeah.
like, I'm not
Yeah.
even paying attention to the road. I'm like, there's fucking aliens. There's fucking aliens. Yeah, I was so excited. I'm like, yes, 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 I'm seeing aliens. And fucking, yeah, I do like a little fucking, whoop, whoop, you know what I mean? Because I'm starting to go into the other
Yeah.
lane, and then after that, I just go into the far right lane and then set cruise control at 70, so that people can just pass me while I'm like, while I'm checking out what's going on.
Yeah. You got more
Well,
important things.
come to find out, once like after about 5 minutes, it was two like small planes in the bottom, like little tiny prop planes, and then the top one was like a commercial liner, and they were all perfectly facing towards me. And then after a while, once they finally caught up to me, I was like, ah, shit, it was just planes. It was just planes. You know what I mean? It wasn't
Oh
aliens.
my god.
Have you ever seen? Do you think you've ever
Right.
seen aliens?
I mean, there was a time, and it's like real hard for me to remember, but me and Vince and my little brother Carl Flystone were driving back from Spokane, and it was like the same time of day, and we saw something that was like a half circle in the sky, like a half circle, the top part. But I barely fucking remember that. Barely. I must have been like 15 or something. There was another time, and we were like, I was like, this is aliens. And Vince was like, yeah, it's probably aliens. He probably doesn't even remember that. But then there was another time driving from here to Idaho. So middle of Montana, middle of the night, like 1 a.m., I'm with my buddy Rico. So it's me and Rico. So each time I was with someone else, and up in the sky we saw like a diamond. It was like a connected diamond with with like through the middle as well, a line through the middle, lines around the outside of a diamond, but see through, and it was a black sky, and there are stars everywhere, right? Montana, like middle of the night, the fucking sky is lit up with stars, but we see this diamond up there, and I'm just like, what the fuck? And he's like, what the fuck as well? And I'm like, I can't figure out if it's like on my windshield. I was like sticking my head out of the window of the car looking at this thing, and it's not like I was like, that's aliens. I was just like, that's something I couldn't tell you what it is. I don't know what it is. And those were the only kind of the two times. I don't think there's been anything else. We used to sit outside and watch like satellites move along. You could tell which ones were the satellites. Yeah.
Yeah.
But the thing was a diamond. So I'm like, all right, I've seen satellites. That's not one of them. At least as far as I know.
So alien, yay, nay?
Probably yay.
Yay, 100%.
Yeah.
Do you believe in aliens?
What? No, not what?
Do you believe in aliens?
Yeah, I do.
Do you believe in some of the stories?
Probably not. But then you have like the Bob Lazar. That's like kind of a more credible story than just some nut on the side of the road in Texas being like, So, did you say, do I believe Bob Lazar?
Yeah, do you believe him?
God damn, I don't know. I don't know. It's tough.
What about that? You listen to Rogan? What about that other guy? They had on like, I don't know, probably 40, 50 episodes ago. He's like a decorated pilot, and he was flying like it was like 2000. Dude, it's fucking Narbar. He's flying and that's what like Joe Rogan is always talking about. He's like, out of everyone I've ever talked to, this is the most credible person ever because he's like a decorated military dude.
He's like an Air Force. He's like an Air Force guy or something.
Yeah, and he was flying. They were doing drills out in the ocean out in California.
Yeah.
And yeah, he sees like something floating like 10 feet off the water, and he's like, "What the fuck?" And it shows up on his radar. And like there's like 3 guys flying, and then he's like, I'm gonna go down and check this out. And he like comes down, and then as soon as he like comes down, the thing just disappears, like instantly disappears. And then it showed up on radar like 20 miles away within like 2 seconds. And they're all just like, there's nothing physically possible that can move that fast. I mean, the fastest jet in the world can't even come close to those numbers. And then he like landed his plane. I think it happened the next day too. And then all the people on the aircraft carrier, all like the radar guys, they were saying they've seen it for like 2 weeks straight. They're like, we've been seeing it. We've been running drills through there, and we can't figure out what the fuck it is. They're like, we know it's not another country because it's just too bizarre and too weird. And he's like the only guy that like saw it with his eyes. But then there's video of it. You can like find video of this of like his screen, what he's seeing on his radar. You know what I mean? And like, it's hard for civilians and people that don't fly planes. It's like confusing to look at what he's looking at. You know what I mean? Because we don't even know what that is. But there's like a bunch of videos like explaining what the little dials are in it or whatever. I don't know. I don't know if I believe they've been here or not. I don't know. There's an interesting. I talked a bunch with the guys I work with this week. We were on a lot of alien talk this week. And one guy I work with is fucking convinced. He's like, he's a young guy. He's like, no fucking aliens, and he's all about it. He's all about this thing. But he turned me on to, and I watched last night their Netflix has a new fucking Unsolved Mysteries. Have you seen that shit?
Uh-uh.
They're like redoing it. Netflix is.
Oh,
It's
okay.
um,
Wow.
but one of them is trippy. It's an alien thing that happened in like 1969, and there's just like a whole town of people that all saw the same fucking thing, and then a bunch of people
Yeah.
were like, multiple people were like abducted and then brought back, and like, yeah, there's just a bunch of people that are all like, you know, all telling the same fucking
Yeah.
story.
Jesus. I mean, it just seems like there's so much smoke that there's got to be something.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
But it's like the to say like I believe that there's probably something out there somewhere is a lot easier than saying like, oh, I think they've been here.
Yeah.
It's just like, how have they? If they were here, wouldn't it be like front page news? Wouldn't it be like widely accepted? I don't know.
That's the
I
whole
don't know.
fucking thing. I know that's for me too. Is like, but now it's so like, even if something like semi credible, well, and now it's real fucked because of like Photoshop, and you know what I mean. Like you can't even trust like deep fake shit. You can't trust shit you
Yeah,
see anymore. You know what I mean? Like someone could easily
yeah,
manipulate like video footage, and we're not like skilled
yeah,
enough to like break it apart and figure out if it's like doctored or not. You know what I mean? I'm not.
yeah. Even if your girlfriend turned on the news and it was on Fox News and they were like interviewing an alien, like, so how long did it take to get here?
Yeah.
You would be like, that's fake. That's not real. But even if it was like a real one, you'd be like, that's not real. It's on TV.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
It's I don't know.
and this kind of led me down another path, which is I think something I've thought of a segment for the show, like kind of
Okay.
like I don't know if we'll
Okay.
continue this, and it kind of sucks because it's kind of like two things for the show today that I have, because this kind of
Okay.
led me into another thing, but the first one isn't so much what I want to do, but it kind of ties into it. I was thinking, I was like, I think it'd be kind of cool to do, or at least for a little bit of time, like as a segment for the show, would be like bananas rock and roll history. You know what I mean? Like something that happened in rock and roll history, like, and just kind of tell the story of what happened. And then so
Okay.
the first one isn't, this gave me the idea. This isn't really a crazy story, but I don't
Mhm.
know if you knew any of this. And I think other people in our generation would be interested in this. I don't know how many people know this. He was on
Okay.
Rogan.
So
So what?
this is not about aliens.
This is about aliens.
Oh, it is about aliens. Okay.
Um, uh, Tom DeLonge from Blink 182
Oh
is
yeah.
fucking
Yeah.
obsessed with aliens, and he's always been
Oh yeah.
obsessed with aliens. And Blink 182 has said very little about the breakups in the band. Like Tom
Mhm.
DeLonge a few years ago said that the guy from Alkaline Trio, who is now in Blink 182, and they've released an album and they're about
Mhm.
to release another album. Tom
Mhm.
DeLonge said like 2 years ago, "Oh, the guy from Alkaline Trio is just filling in for me for the time being." But then there's like other things that have said that make it more like they just couldn't get along anymore. You know, Mark Hoppus and
Right.
Tom DeLonge and fucking.
Right.
And then there's a few things. Travis Barker's came out and said like, "Yeah, he's fucking obsessed." Like, cause and then
Yeah.
he's got a show on the Discovery Channel. I can't remember what it was called, but he's like spent a bunch of money trying to find Bigfoot, and then now he's in the so I read a Wikipedia thing about him, and fucking, so he left Blink 182, and
Yeah.
fucking, what was the sci for?
He's just like, oh, God. I just would hate to be around him and listen to him talk about that shit. But and his Rogan appearance was like so exciting, and then such a letdown. I feel like.
Yeah, he
But
didn't
at
want
the
to talk about
same
music
time,
at all. He just
well,
wanted to talk
no.
about To the Stars.
Yeah, and he wasn't even like, he wasn't getting through to Joe. I feel like Joe was just in the debunk mode, so he was just like trying to debunk everything.
Yeah, yeah.
But you know,
He sounded
I
pretty.
I
He sounded pretty fucking whoo on that episode.
yeah,
Like me and my
yeah,
buddy were listening to it working, and we're like, he's fucking crazy. This guy is
yeah.
fucking lunatic.
Yeah, it was entertaining, but it was kind of a letdown almost, especially for anyone who's like a fan, like there for any kind of music thing or whatever. But then Travis Barker's appearance on Joe Rogan was fucking, it delivered. It was good, but like I feel like I owe the guy something still because he's a really good songwriter, okay,
The best.
and you can't deny that.
Blink 182 is nothing without him. Like they've only
Sure.
wrote one good single, and like Mark Hoppus was such a good additive to Tom DeLonge Like their
Mm-hmm.
voices worked so well together. But dude, you
Yeah.
can't. All the fucking songs are Tom DeLonge songs. Like all the fucking
Mm-hmm.
famous ones. Like like the fucking the one about fucking The Nightmare Before Christmas. That one is nothing without Tom DeLonge's part. Like he just
Mm-hmm.
sells that whole song. Hello there, the angel from my nightmare. You know what I mean? Like fucking, you gotta have that high pitched voice, and no one can
Yeah.
fucking do the high pitched voice. Like the Alkaline Trio guy, yeah, is not a good singer in comparison.
No. No.
I don't know. It really
So
bums
I
me
feel
out.
like I feel like I see him and I'm like, I still owe the man something because he's given me so much.
Like
But then he's
four
just a
of the
fucking
best
nut.
albums. Like Dude Ranch, or not Dude Ranch, should Take Off Your Platinum Jacket with quadruple platinum. Fucking yeah, like they were.
Take off your pants and jacket.
Take off your pants, Jack. Oh
Yeah.
Jesus.
Well, they only have one. I would probably say they only have one classic album.
No.
Like classic.
No,
album.
bro. They have four amazing fucking albums.
Yeah, and one classic album.
Okay, what's the
One,
classic album?
Enema of the State.
Okay, Take Off
Everything
Your Pants.
about it is-
Take Off Your Pants and Jacket was so. Enema State was amazing. Take Off Your Pants and Jacket was
It's
phenomenal. Dude Ranch was phenomenal. All that shit's just amazing.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm
Fucking-
saying they have one.
Fucking Pierce Blink fans, man. I hate them. I hate fucking. So many people think that, and I totally disagree.
Hey, I've seen Travis Barker live. Anyway,
Have you?
well, they have one
With some rapper
yeah,
or something like that?
Yeah, with Lil Wayne.
I bet that was pretty cool.
Yeah, it was all right. I mean, yeah. Anyway, I'm just saying one iconic that you could just show the album artwork to people and they would say, "Oh, I know the band. I know the band." Like just, all that stuff and just like the whole thing. Anyway, I'm just saying like yeah, he's just a nut. He's got kind of a Kanye thing going on with him, which is maybe why I like him where the music is I like the music, but then the person's just a nut,
So I pulled up the Wikipedia for a second, but I remember this off the top of my head, but don't exactly quote me what this is. But he started To the Stars, which was a entertainment company after he broke up with Blink, and then he got together with this old ex-CIA guy, and then they created the To the Stars University, which was like they were trying to come up with. It was just crazy alien shit. And the guy, like, the other guy is quoted as, like, in 10 years, because of what we're doing to find alien, blah, blah, he's like, we're going to be 5 generations ahead in technology. And blah, blah, blah. Like, just crazy accusations about alien shit. And kind of like the Bob Lazar type shit. They're going to be able to harness fucking crazy, crazy shit. But, when I was reading through that Wikipedia, and I'm assuming this happened, like, right after Rogan, is fucking that company was hemorrhaging $32 million. They were like $32 million in the black or whatever. So like, or in the red. Like, I'm pretty sure they're done. You know what I mean? Like that whole thing's fucking over with.
Yeah, I think on Rogan he was even saying like we're coming out with this huge announcement soon, and Rogan was like, "What is it?" And he's like,
"You'll find out." And that's what was irritating me about that episode was everything he said was like that. He would never give like closure. It would be like build up, build up, build up. Oh, you'll find out. Yeah. I fucking hate when people do that. It drives me nuts. Yeah. Like,
don't payoff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God
damn it.
Where you sliding to? Oh my God, he's sliding away. He's sliding away.
Sorry.
Okay, he's back. He's back. So this brings up. So I'm just talking, and you can tell me to stop talking. But
no, you're good.
I'm just coming at you. But this, and we don't have to do it right now, but what that led me to, what I was saying before, is like a rock segment. So I do have one planned today. I don't have like a bunch of information, but it's a cool rock story. And I bet a lot of people don't know. I would be surprised if you knew what this was. Like,
this is something that you want to bring?
Let's just jump into it. I know that I feel like
every week. I mean,
yes,
as the show goes,
yes. I will bring rock stories. So, do you know who Randy Rhoads is?
I mean, yes, but no. You have to remind me.
Okay, so he had formed Quiet Riot. He was the guitar player for Quiet Riot, but then Quiet Riot broke up, and at the same time, Black Sabbath or Ozzy Osbourne was kicked out of Black Sabbath, and then
Okay.
because of his drug use, and he was out of fucking control. Well, then Sharon, like, straight up fucking Sharon is the whole reason Ozzy Osbourne is who he is. Like, she was the
Oh,
only
you've
level.
said this before.
The
Yeah.
Randy Rhoads thing.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think I dug into it like I did
Okay.
the other day, because Sharon fucking essentially grabs Ozzy by the balls and is like, "You're fucking this up. You are the most famous person in the world right now, and you're just doing a bunch of drugs. You just got kicked out of fucking Black Sabbath. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? You know what I mean?" And then so like a year later, and because she was his manager and agent, and fucking a year later, he goes out on this big fucking auditioning people to come into his band, and Randy Rhoads didn't even want to do it. He was talked into it, and Randy Rhoads at the time was like 18, or 19 or 20 years old, and he had just gotten out of Quiet Riot. Quiet Riot started when he was 16, and essentially by 16, people were already calling him like a prodigy, like a guitar prodigy. He was fucking incredible. Like his mom
This
ran.
was the 80s.
This would have been the late 70s when this was going down, because
Okay.
Diary of a Madman came out in like 81 or something like that. It was 79 or
Okay.
81, and that was the album Randy Rhoads was on, and he was the guy that wrote Crazy Train, which is hands down like one of the most iconic fucking songs of all time. I think it's listed.
Yeah.
I think what I was reading is like out of the three different, Billboard versus VH1, it's always like top 10, top 15 to top 10 songs of all time.
Yeah. Well, it's played at every single sporting event ever.
Well, and then
Even to this
and then
day.
I was reading that on Wikipedia. Fucking the Patriots play it at all the intros to their fucking intros to their games is Crazy Train. So I'll just kind of spout out some information. Crazy Train was actually written about the Cold War, which is kind of interesting if you listen to the lyrics. Ozzy is surprisingly smart when it comes to historical shit. If you like get into Ozzy at all, he's not a dumb guy. He comes off. I think it's all an act. I've been on this for a while. I think all his Ozzy Osbourne show, I think it's all a fucking crazy act. I don't think he's
Really?
fucking. I don't think he's. I'm sure, dude. There's no way. At this, have you listened to his new album? He comes out fucking crystal clear. He's an amazing singer to this day. He's not fucking. That's
So
an
he's
act.
playing a character.
If you can
think he's playing
fucking,
a
if someone
character.
can give you a microphone and you can sing like that, you can talk normally.
Yeah.
Shut the fuck up.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
Okay.
but he's super into history. Like every time they'd go on tour, he'd always want to stop at like historical monuments. He was like a famous one is he was kicked out of the Alamo for like pissing at the Alamo or something like that. That's like some famous story. And then he had his show with his son where they would go historical place to historical place. But anyways, so Randy Rhoads signs on with fucking with Ozzy to write Diary of a Madman, and they go to England, they write the album, and then they go out on tour. The guys from Quiet Riot said that they'd like talked to Randy Rhoads, and like they used to make fun of Black Sabbath. They hated Black Sabbath growing up, and they everyone in Quiet Riot didn't understand why Randy Rhoads joined Black Sabbath or joined Ozzy, and then while
I hate Black Sabbath.
this is the 80s, it was like they thought that was, I don't know, they thought it was
Right.
I don't know, I don't understand how you can hate Black Sabbath. I fucking love Black Sabbath. So they go on tour with him. He's clean and sober. Randy Rhoads didn't do drugs, didn't drink alcohol. All he did is smoke cigarettes. And so after like the original tour, he was getting fed up with Ozzy already. Like, and even though Ozzy was doing better than he used to, Ozzy's a fucking, junkie. And so he wasn't having it. And he had said that they were writing out contracts to get him out of the band. He didn't want to be in the band anymore. But he was going to, finish out the tours and stuff like that. And I think maybe they had him, he was under contract to write another album with Ozzy, but as soon as he could, he was going to get out of it. So they're on the last show of their tour, and they were in the United States, and they're fucking driving down to Florida, and then their last show was going to be either in Orlando or Miami. And they were they were supporting Foreigner. At that show as a support, they were like opening for Foreigner in that one.
Jesus.
I'm assuming Foreigner was bigger than fucking life itself at that time in '81.
Okay.
So what had happened is they have a day off. Like they drive, they were in like somewhere in the Northeast or like halfway down, and then fucking they have a full day off, or like they get, or maybe 2 days. They drive down to Florida. They have a full day to hang out in Florida. They go to their managers or the bus company, the guy who owned the bus company. They go to their compound because the AC isn't working in the bus. And this guy's like filthy rich. He owns this like international bus company, and like you go onto his property, it's this huge mansion, all this fucking property, all these buses, there's a bunch of planes, a bunch of helicopters, all this shit. And they pull in there and they're going to stay the night. And fucking the next morning, like they go to sleep the next morning. Fucking Ozzy and Sharon and the bass player, like Ozzy had drank all day, so he's fucking all hungover. He's sleeping in the bus. The next morning, like 8 in the morning, Randy Rhoads gets up. The bus driver's up. The bus driver hadn't slept. He was doing cocaine all night, and the bus driver had his pilot's license and fucking was asking people if they wanted to go fucking on. There's a plane. There was a little fucking Cessna or whatever there. And so they all started going on rides, and he goes up first and takes 2 people up, and they just fly for like 20 minutes over the ranch, and then and like the first time he buzzes the fucking tour bus, like where Ozzy is sleeping, like buzzes the plane, like over the top of it, and then lands, and like, all fun and games, and then lands, and then Randy Rhoads decides to fucking get on. Supposedly Randy was deathly scared of flying, but ended up getting on, and it's just him and the bus driver, who hasn't slept all night, and after the autopsy, they find that he has cocaine in his system. And fucking... he does 3 fucking passes over the bus, like trying to like scare people. Like he would just fly way low and just like cruise over the bus. Yeah. And then there's another part of the story is like there's a girl there who is like his wife that they were about to divorce or some shit like that. And he was all fucking pissed. Yeah, the bus driver's like wife was there on the bus. She had joined him the night before or whatever and drove down with him. And she's like filing divorce papers or some shit like that. And supposedly on the 3rd pass, she walks out of the bus. And so he would have had like clear vision of her. And then on that fucking pass, he fucking comes down to buzz the bus, hits the bus with the wing, clips the wing off, and then they go fucking flying into the mansion. And it fucking killed on impact. And the bass player and another guy said that they could see like clear as day the front seats of the plane when it was coming in. And they said Randy Rhoads was like trying to pull the fucking stick up. Like they were having an altercation inside the fucking plane, and then they all died. There was another person.
And Ozzy was in the bus?
And Ozzy was in the bus. We were this close to losing Ozzy too. You know what I mean? Like,
and the wife died?
No. There was 3 people on the plane. I don't remember who the 3rd person was. I think it was a woman.
Dude, fuck that.
Yeah. Isn't that fucking nutty? And he was 25 years old, and like in most accounts, he was destined to be one of the greatest guitar players in the world. Like everyone knew who he was. He was incredible, and he was just about to go back to school to UCLA to take up classical guitar. Was gonna go practice classical guitar. I don't know. I always thought that was a cool fucking story.
That's an interesting one. I've never heard that before. Fucking... Yeah. I mean, I don't think I have.
Yeah, he fucking hit the bus. Dude. Like, you could bring up pictures, and there's like a giant scrape down the side of the bus. I mean, he's fucking 10 feet away. Ozzy almost died, too.
Yeah, he was all fucked up. When someone's like, hey, I got my pilot's license. Hey, did you know I have my pilot's license as well? Want to go up? No, I don't want to go up. Why aren't you flying planes regularly? You're driving a bus. Wouldn't flying planes pay more? I guess being Ozzy's bus driver is not a bad gig.
Yeah, that'd probably be a pretty fucking sweet gig.
Dude, fuck that.
Yeah. Do you like the idea for a segment, like kind of a rock history fucking? Because I think I'd get into that. I'd fucking dig, searching up stories like that.
Yeah. Hey, it's nice to learn stuff. Yeah. I don't think I know too many,
Yeah, I don't really know all that many either, but I mean, I know there's rock stories. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Find something.
That's a rock story.
That's a rock story.
That's fucking crazy. Yeah, that's fucking craziness.
You got anything, or do you want me to just keep spouting?
Oh, Well, would you say right now that rock is dead?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Rap and DJs ruined everything. Absolutely ruined
I think
everything. It
if
ruined
someone
everything.
like a music historian were to write about rock music right now and write like a giant book about it, I think that you could write the beginning and the end. You know what I mean? I think that there's not like volume 1 and then, over the next 50 years you can come out with volume 2. I think right now you can write the ending of it.
Yeah, I agree with that, but I do think inevitably people are gonna get sick of electronic music. I think people, I just think right now it's like the fucking thing, and everyone. I think at a certain point, people are gonna start like realizing that it's not human. You know what I mean? It's not. There's no flaws to it. There's no flaws to the music,
Mm.
and it's not a
Hmm.
human thing. It's a computer thing, and people have like lost
Yeah,
sight
but when
over
the
that.
if so you're saying like, in the future they'll implement instruments again, but then once when they do that, wouldn't it don't you think it'd still be some sort of fusion
I think there might
of the
just be
two?
a cultural shift, like back towards, authentic. Yeah, how like vintage is like, the cool thing right now. I think with music, it'll, after all these kids, get done with all their ecstasy and everything, they'll realize what they were doing is garbage and fucking
Uh-huh.
come back to the light.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
I
dead.
mean, but
No one,
it's dead. And so I've been thinking about this for a while. And so when you say they're gonna like how vintage comes back, or they want to buy albums, or like the
yeah.
clothes that were in style 40 years ago. So when the if the rock comes back, wouldn't it just come back as in we're just gonna like resurrect the old stuff, not make new, but just we're just gonna
No,
like
no, no. I mean, I guess maybe,
you know what I
but
mean?
I think there's so many bands now that are doing really cool shit and they get zero recognition for it because there's no money in it anymore. Like no one's buying these albums. No one gives a
Like
fuck.
who? Name one.
Uh, fucking like Rock on Tears. Even famous people, they're not making that much money anymore. You know what I mean? Like fucking,
Mm,
there's
mm-hmm.
no, like you got bands
Yeah.
that should be so famous and aren't, are their tours are garbage. You know what I mean? It just
Yeah.
doesn't make any sense to me. Like, you know, I bet you Radiohead is down to where they're just playing local venues, or like venues, not fucking arenas, which is crazy.
Yeah.
Like, they should be at a purely arena band.
Yeah. I just think it's dead.
Okay, okay. On
So
top
so
of
then
this,
I was
this,
trying to think so then I was trying to think of when did it die? So I was trying to think of
uh,
like, is there an album, or is there a band, or is there a year when if a historian were to
it
write the
took a little
history of
bit.
rock
It
music?
took a little bit.
What?
It took a little bit. It started in it started when fucking essentially you can tie it right to when fucking electronic music like bypassed them. That was the beginning of the end. Yes, there was techno and shit like that, but as soon as like
Yeah.
electronic EDM and shit like that took over, it was over. It was fucking
Yeah, but I feel like that might have been like the late 2000s, when I feel like rock was dead before that. I feel like the EDM and dance music was like oh 05, oh
okay, but
06, oh 07,
you
oh
had
08.
Blink, take off your pants and jacket
I
or
think it died
whatever.
before that. I think it
But
died
that's what I
before
mean.
that.
It was still hanging in there to where that was like they are a rock band. They're
Oh, I
one
see.
hundred percent,
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
they still were able to go, yeah, quadruple platinum with a fucking rock
Right,
album. You know what I mean?
right.
But it was yes, people were chipping away at killing it before then.
Yeah.
Now it's dead.
So if you were to write the book of the rock music started here and ended here, you're saying somewhere in that book there would be the words Blink 182
No, well,
in the book?
maybe
Right.
there's they were in that last fucking Jack White,
Last
White
page.
Stripes, Rock on Tears. Blink 182 was a little before, but they were relevant right at the end. And then,
Hmm.
yeah, no one really gives a shit anymore.
No, they don't. All right, I was just curious. I thought you were gonna be on a different side than me, but we're on the same side.
So, it was funny the other day. So my girlfriend's pretty young, you know what I mean? She's 20, 21. So we're in like a totally different. There's so many
Jesus.
things I run into. Yeah, she's a youngin. There's so many fucking. There's so many things that all the time. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, you
Yeah.
haven't heard about this? You don't even know what this is or whatever. So we played this kind of like game. It was yesterday or the day before, where I was just like dicking around on YouTube and I came across the '90s alternative playlist. You know what I mean? So I just clicked on it and like, dude, it was nostalgia as fuck, dude. Like some songs I haven't heard in a long time, and was like,
Yeah.
oh my god, dude, she probably only got about 50% of them, and I couldn't fucking believe it. Like, it was just blowing my mind. She'd never heard the Bare Naked Ladies, you know, other than it was what actually got me started. It wasn't that I found it. It was the what's that nerdy ass show that the three nerds that are like scientists. It's like wildly famous right now.
Big Bang Theory.
The Big Bang Theory was on, and I was like, oh, did you know that band was actually like a pretty famous band in the '90s? You know, blah blah blah. The Bare Naked Ladies. You know, they do the intro for that deal.
Oh, really? Oh, God.
You didn't know that? You don't like the
No,
Bare Naked Ladies? Bare Naked Ladies are
No, I
awesome.
like the Bare Naked Ladies. I hate the Big Bang Theory. I think it fucking blows.
Oh, okay.
I would never watch that show.
But this is okay. This kind of ties in with Rock being dead. So not only was it blowing me away that she hadn't heard a lot of these songs, you know, like the Bare Naked Ladies on, she hadn't heard those, you know, just a bunch of them. Well, fuck. Now that I'm thinking about it, what blew me away? I didn't know if you knew this. She's like, oh, I know that guy, and I didn't know this because I don't listen to country. But the guy from,
Oh, yeah.
oh, you know who I'm talking about? Fucking, what's his name?
Darius Rucker.
Darius Rucker. She's like, oh, that guy sings Wagon Wheel. That led us down a whole nother path. I'm like, he did not fucking write Wagon Wheel, goddammit. I'm like, that is not a Darius Rucker song. It's a fucking Bob Dylan song.
Is it?
Oh my god.
Well, it is a Darius Rucker song, but it's a cover,
the most
I guess.
covered song in the world. Like, hands down. Old Crow Medicine
Fuck,
Show
I didn't know
did
that.
it. Fucking, oh, you piece of shit. Anyways, okay. Sorry, keep getting off topic here. Fucking, what really blew me away is, and you could kind of say this is a good indication because you grew up, you remember the 90s, right? You remember the radio in the 90s? No? Do
Yeah.
you? Like,
I think.
you remember how big some of these songs used to be? Like, any of them. Sugar Ray, fucking, you know, it was just, there was just this whole fucking, the radio was so big, and you knew every song on the radio. You know what I mean? And fucking, we're going down this 90s alternative playlist, and dude, about 20% of them were some of the most iconic songs to me. Were coming in at like 250,000 views. And I was just like, what the fuck? How?
Yeah.
How is this possible? And it just goes to show, well, YouTube views are pretty much all based on these kids, you know, new age shit that's going on. You know what I mean? Like, that's what's getting high views. And it just, Rock's dead. You know what I mean?
Because
no one gives a shit.
Because the song that was popular in 1993 got put on YouTube in 2011. You know? So it's like Thriller would have like 1 trillion views on there. What it does
if it came out, if YouTube was around when Thriller came out, yeah,
if they were counting every play from every record player of all time, you know. But
if you're ever around a young person, it's a pretty fun game to play. Is just throw on a 90s alternative mix, and they'll miss a bunch of them, which blows me away because it's just like fuck, you know. Do you believe in love after love? You know what I mean? Just those fucking hits that you're just like, God damn, that takes me back. Like, fuck, I haven't heard this in a minute. And fuck, I can remember 1997, that song would come on the radio, and it was like, it would come on every hour. You know what I mean? Like, fucking...
Well, I remember I just had a radio where I, like, had blank tapes, and I would just, like, record.
You'd wait and just fucking...
Yeah.
Oh yeah, making mixtapes. That was the fucking
so
shit.
it was on like the popular radio station. I don't know what else they were playing. But like I was like recording Eminem songs, you know? So I had like this cassette tape full of Eminem songs that were all like radio edited, you know, stuff like that. And just trying to make my own collection, and it was like 3 songs. It's like fuck, it's hard to even remember what songs were on the radio in the 90s. I mean, I've been listening to, you know, I was stuck in country for a few months, and then I moved to the hot new hip hop, which was great and refreshing. And then I moved to the like the 2000s hits Sirius station, and it's like, God damn, this is so good. I'm like, this is my era. The 2000s is my era. That's like that's like my peak. I peaked in the 2000s. It's like the music was so good, some of it.
Yeah.
And
Well,
sometimes I'll dip back the dial to the 90s when there's a song
I'm
that
not
comes on the
saying the
2000s.
90s was good because there's like this hint
Yeah.
of 80s in 90s music. Like
Hmm.
I don't know how to explain it. There's like you can feel the 80s a little bit still,
Yeah.
like lingering into the music, and it's just weird.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like the Talking Heads type fucking vibe going on a little bit
Yeah.
through all their music. Fucking, I'll say hands down, I think the best time for music. But I'm really biased because I'm really into indie alternative music. The best time ever was like 2009 was just the best year for music ever. You had like Mumford and Sons came out, fucking just
Oh
all
my
those
God.
Silver Sun. Well, not I don't really like the Mumford and Sons, but I'm just saying a
Yeah.
bunch of bands like Flooded came out in 2009 that are still like Silver Sun Pickups, fucking just all the indie bands, all of them came out in that time period. All of them, fucking uh, the yeah, all of them, fucking. And now I'm fucking
Yeah.
losing MGMT, fucking. Modest Mouse was out, but Modest Mouse really had a huge push with some songs during 2009. Fucking, it was the best. It was the
God.
best fucking time period ever for
Hollywood
me.
Undead. Hollywood Undead. Like did you ever hear that band Mindless Self Indulgence?
Yeah. Hmm.
Oh my God, so fucking ridiculous. I remember all these kids in school like, "Oh, we love that band. We're going to a
That's like a
concert.
that's like
We're
that's
going
like
to the
this
MSI concert." And I'm
that's like
like,
the same
"This
thing as
is
like as Hollywood
uh,
Undead, right? It's like the same kind of rap rock emo thing
yeah,
going
kind
on.
of. Yeah,
Okay.
kind of electro, kind of dance like electronic as well.
Yeah.
So
Hollywood Undead
stupid.
was garbage. I listened to like one song ever and was just, fuck this. It's so bad.
It was really popular in Idaho. Yeah. Should we break and wait for our guest?
Uh yeah,
We
we
have eight
can
minutes
we can do that. I need water
if you
fucking
want.
bad. I can't believe I didn't grab a glass of water before I sat down. Okay.
Okay.
We'll be back in just a minute with our guest. Bye. And roll. Good to go.
All right, we are back with our guest for the week. He's the founder of MasterTalk, communication expert, and master of presentation, Brenden Kumarasamy. How's it going?
Awesome. How about you guys?
Pretty
Pretty
good.
good. Pretty good.
Awesome. Thanks for having me on.
Oh yeah,
Absolutely.
thanks for being on.
Yeah.
Of course.
You're in Montreal, right?
You got it.
I mean, how's it going there? Is everything like locked down hardcore, or is it back to normal, or where's it all at?
Let's just say it's better than the States. We don't have much to complain about, It's kind of living life to the fullest. It's like semi-open. The sense of,
Okay,
restaurants are open, but no one's really going, things like that.
How big is
gotcha.
Montreal? What's the population there?
It's not so bad. It's like 7 hour drive from New York City. So it's a couple
Mm,
million.
Okay, that's pretty
gotcha.
big.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty
But it's
big.
like 2-3 million, not like New York City, like
Yeah,
huge.
yeah, yeah.
Uh,
So what exactly is Master Talk? You're the founder of it and you teach public speaking. Is that right?
You got it. So it's a YouTube channel where I make videos on the
Okay.
topic for people who pretty much can't afford me. That's the reason why I started the channel primarily.
Okay. So is Master Talk also people who you help individually? Okay.
You got
Gotcha.
it.
So yeah, I mean, and for public speaking, I mean, for me, we're talking about fear number one. I mean, I absolutely hate it. We both went to school in Idaho, and I don't know how it works in other states, but in Idaho, like, it was mandatory you took speech class your junior year. So I had 2 years of being nervous for this speech class because I kept hearing about it, and I'm like, oh my, like
Jeez.
for 2 years I dreaded it, and I just have to get through it because when I feel like the group is looking at me and all eyes are on me, I feel like I sort of just black out and forget what I'm talking. Don't know, like I'll sit down and I'll say I don't know how that went. I don't remember it. It's terrifying for public speaking for me. So I'm sure lots of people that come to you or find you are maybe in the same boat as me.
Absolutely. And I think this is like a common a common thing that we see in the world, in the sense of we all come from very different cultures, very different backgrounds, but for some reason, most of us just happen to be scared of public speaking, and none of us know
Mm.
why. It's kind of this big mystery. So hopefully, I can clarify that today. So let's
Mm.
break this down, right? The
Mhm.
answer lies in where we give most of our presentations, which is, like you mentioned, the school. We don't wake up one
Mhm.
morning and go, "Hey, Eric, Brad, you guys want to like get breakfast and present all day?" Nobody does that, right? We
Mhm.
either watch sports or do something else with their lives. So when we present in school, three things tend to happen. One, we never get to pick the topic. Think your high school history presentations, where you have to present a time period of history. You don't really care which one you get. You don't want to present any of them. Number two, students don't care, not because they hate you, but because they're worried about
Mm.
their own presentation.
Hmm.
And so let's say you're presenting. I have nothing against Brad. Brad's a good friend of mine, but I'm not listening to Brad right now because I got to prepare for my own thing in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And then you have a teacher who's very well educated, very well intentioned, but super stressed. I got 30 kids to go through in two classes. I don't have time to sit down with Brad for 10 minutes and go, "Do you want to discuss our public speaking tips and what we can do better, Brad?" Over and over again. Topics we never get to pick. Students who don't care. Teachers are too
Mhm.
stressed. This is the same audience that we present all of our presentations. History, math, sciences,
Mm.
art, over and over and over again. We see public speaking as a chore, as a responsibility, as an obligation. That's why we're scared of it. Whereas in this conversation, as I'm sure you've learned in your life, Brad, public
Mhm.
speaking is a good thing because you're using it right now in this conversation to make the guest experience better so that more viewers will come and you can impact more people.
All right, that's a good point.
Were you
Yeah.
were you like that
Yeah,
growing
go
up?
for it.
Were you like introverted? Were you extroverted?
Definitely extroverted, but terrible at presentation. So just to give you two context and everyone listening.
Mhm.
So in Montreal in Canada, it's one of the few cities in North America where multiple languages are spoken at the same
Hmm.
time. So for those who don't know, French is an official language within the city. So for me to actually do well in the city, I needed to go to French school to learn the language. But here's the issue. Not only was I uncomfortable with presentations, I had to give all of my presentations for the first 15 years of my life in a language I didn't know. So
Yeah.
imagine that. I would walk up in grade two and just go, bonjour, which is hi in French, and then I would just panic, run away. So if I could master public speaking, I'm sure everyone on this call can.
Do you think in school they should be doing it differently, or do you think they should be doing it at all, or more, or what would you say?
Yeah, it's a cool question. So I've thought a lot
Yeah.
about this, and I have my own little kids program too, where I'm kind of prototyping all of this stuff. But the
Hmm.
idea is super simple. The three problems that we outlined, right? Students who don't care, teachers who are super stressed, and topics we don't get to pick. How do we fix all of these three things? So one is by creating what I call, and this applies for everybody, not just kids, a
Mm.
repeatable presentations. What does that mean? If you create a presentation that solves a problem for someone else that you can do over and over again, you'll get better over time with that single presentation. Because most presentations are as follows: you present it once, throw it in the garbage, make a new one, throw it in the garbage, make another one. Whereas the
Yep.
best speakers in the world present one or two presentations and they do it hundreds of times. Think about this podcast you two are doing. I'm sure anyone
Hmm.
who comes up to you and asks you for advice, you say just record 20 episodes and you'll get better, right?
Right.
But we don't do that in public speaking. We don't work on the same thing over and over again like you two are doing as you bring on new guests onto the show.
That's a good point because it's like stand-up comedians, right? They have their hour-long act and they go cities all over the country and they're just doing the same act over and over to new audiences. But for us, in school, it's just doing new presentations to the same audiences. Um, so I was thinking about this, teaching people online. Like, is it effective? I'm sure it's effective, but is it as effective, I guess, as someone trying to like trial through fire, just doing it on stage in front of people? Because I feel like that's if I did that 1,000 times, I could probably get more comfortable on stage. As opposed to, so you're able to do it online though. You're able to teach people online.
Yeah, I think the way you two can consider this is it's all intertwined. The better you are in one, the better you are in everything. So it's like
Mm.
conversations. You know, it's when you. I'm sure a lot of us had this, and I did too. Like social anxiety when you're talking to people, and you're just like, "What am I saying? Why am I
Yeah.
here?" It's just like, what's happening? And you feel stressed. But obviously, if you're a better speaker, if you've done something much harder, when you get back to the social settings, then your role flips really quickly from "I'm scared" to "Let me help this other person be more comfortable in this conversation," right? So it's the
Hmm.
same thing with this. Is the big difference that I want to point out is that online presentations are actually a lot harder than in-person ones. And the reason is because I'll give you a quick example because you mentioned stand-up
Yeah.
comics actually. So let's say
Yeah.
you'd say a joke. We were all together in Idaho and I would say a joke in a presentation. You would know, or I would know immediately if I was funny or not. You would either laugh and go, "Oh, Brendan's such a funny guy," or you would both say, this dude is not funny. Like this guy
Yeah.
is not a funny guy." But at least I know. So for next time, I don't have to say the joke. I can just be a bit more, less jokes, more facts or something. But in an online presentation, here's the challenge. When I say the joke, I need to assume it's funny.
because
The
there's no
reason is
audience.
Oh.
because you can't see anybody. Exactly. You just don't know.
Hmm.
So the same joke that you said in person, you have to say with the same amount of enthusiasm, the same
Mhm.
amount of energy, even if
Hmm.
you don't know whether people are laughing or not. And that is really hard to
Oh.
do.
Okay. So yeah. So if you become better doing it online, it'll help in person.
You
I
got
just
it.
still feel like when there in person and all the eyes are on me, that's when I kind of just check out somehow. So
I
I
agree.
would, I would, yeah, I would have to practice. That would be where the practice would be, which I don't want to do. I don't want to do at all. I'm just saying that's where it would probably get better.
How do you get
Absolutely.
with the online courses? How do you? Is there any techniques you have to like prepare people for? Because you would never be able to through YouTube throw them in front of 1,000 people. You know what I mean? Is there techniques you have to prepare them for that situation? Because that for a lot of people, that's you can practice talking and giving a speech, but then once there's something that happens once you feel like 1,000 eyes are on you. That scares the shit out of most people.
Absolutely. And it's a great question, Eric. So, so I'll give you guys an inside look of how I think about this. So, at the
Hmm.
end of the day, we need to realize, and you two, I'm sure, would agree with me, most human beings in our lifetime will not present to 1,000 people. I still haven't presented in front of 1,000 people. I'm sure I will in the next 2 or 3 years. I've done 400 or 500. That's probably my best so
Which
far.
is still
But
extremely scary.
yeah, which is
Yeah,
still
that's
extremely scary. Of
terrifying.
course, of course, of course. But I think the way that I think about mastering the videos, because you're right, you're absolutely right in the sense I can't teach someone to speak in front of 1,000 people just through video. So the way that I see it is I want to be the smallest snowball in the avalanche that starts. So the issue that we have right now
Mm.
is that most people don't even start with the small snowball. I mean, you just said it yourself, Brad. You're just like, screw this. I don't want to master public speaking, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which is normal. Which is normal for most people, right?
Yeah.
But the people where the ball is already rolling and the avalanche has already started, for them, 1,000 people is more just an incremental process. So this is kind of how it happens. They're like, man, I got to master public speaking. I'm a CEO of a company. I'm a speaker. I'm someone, or I'm a podcaster, top 100 podcaster. I need to be amazing at this thing because I need to go out and promote my podcast on speaking engagements and stuff. So you kind of forced into the situation where you need to be good, and then you suck the first couple of times. But since you want to
Mm.
keep getting better to promote your podcast or whatever the case is, you're forced to get better over time. And through the late end of that curve, you're able to speak in front of 1,000. But what Master Talk fixes, it still helps those people because I share all my advanced tricks with them. But what pushes them to the 1,000 people is themselves, not me. Who I push is the person who doesn't even want to get up in front of 5 people.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So I'm sure you guys know Toastmasters. It's like an organization where
Mm-hmm.
you can go. It's really cheap, and you can go like practice. And there's a lot of people. There's like hundreds of thousands of members in the world, but there's millions of people who want to master public speaking who don't even have the courage to go to that meeting. So
Yeah.
I'm there for those people. So my pitch to them is, okay, you don't need to present, but can you just go into a dark basement where nobody can see you, watch these videos where nobody will know. And then over time, what the videos does is it brainwashes you into believing that public speaking is a really easy thing.
Hmm.
I see.
Something I struggled with
Yeah.
a lot. Like it was about a year ago, and it was funny. I play music and I've played a lot on stage, and like it's funny switching over into speaking because it's a funny thing that happens with instruments is even though more and more people will be in front of you, you can kind of hide behind your instrument. You know what I mean? You don't have to use that. But so I've always been like, yeah, I did theater a little bit for a while, but I always thought like, oh, I'm good at this. I'm good at this. It's easy for me. You know what I mean? I've already battled it over and over and over again. But then about 2 years ago, I was the best man at a wedding, and it actually was probably one of the hardest things I've ever done. And I think it kind of all tied in. Yeah, I don't know. It scared the shit out of me. And it was more like I put a lot of weight on it. You know what I mean? And I would assume, long-winded way of getting at, I'm assuming probably some of the people you're dealing with, that's going to be, I mean, even if you never want to speak in front of someone, that would be a situation where you're like kind of forced to. You know what I mean? Like, oh, will you be the best man at my wedding? And it's like, fuck. Like, oh
You're
my
like,
God, I
no
got it.
thanks. Bye.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you have any like? Because I think the hardest thing for me in that situation was coming up with content. Like, what do I even say? You know what I mean? Like, and then I.
Yeah. So a couple of thoughts to keep this really simple. Because my goal whenever I go on a podcast, whoever's listening, their perception of what public speaking is should be different after I leave. Right. So that's what I always try and do in these episodes. So here's a couple of things to think about. And this advice applies for any type of content that we're trying to make. So let's use our best man speech as an example. That hopefully went well. At least I hope. Well, anyways, so let's assume it didn't happen yet. So in that context, there's two parts that we need to focus on. One is the following question. If it was your last best man speech ever, your last presentation that you would ever give to the guy that you've known for 20 plus years, you know, the guy that's entrusting you with this message, and there's only one sentence that they'll remember from the whole speech, not your name, not your title, not the fact that you're best man or that you're a rock and roll superstar, but they'll only remember one sentence. What do you want the sentence to be? That is what we call your key idea. So let's say out of all the things that you're like, man, should I talk about the time that we were snowboarding like 15 years ago? Should we talk about this? But out of all of them, there's probably that one memory that clicks to you immediately as I answer this question. You're like, you know, it wasn't actually the snowboard. It was probably that time I was just having lunch with them and I just saw the way that he was looking at her and I just knew it was the thing. Right? It's probably something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then the second part of the speech, I know you felt that, right? You're gonna like, oh, you're like, he's got something. But then the second part of that is just defend it. That's it. Now that you know what the memory is, because you're not speaking for an hour here. You're speaking for like 15 minutes, 20, maybe, probably less. And the next thing is, from that key idea, what can you say to best convey that message? So then you might think, oh, what was the scenery like? Where were we? What kind of clothes were we wearing? What were we eating? And the more details you add, then after that, you parse out the boring stuff. And then you're done. That's it. Last thing. Small other trick is what I call the random word exercise. So this helps you get into uncomfortable situations a bit every day. So since both, let's give it to Eric. So Eric, give me a random word.
Like crazy random, or
crazy random. As long as I understand it. Like, don't use something like terminology specific.
hippo. I don't know.
Hippo's great. I love that. That's awesome. So what I have to do now, without being too offensive, is I need to do a presentation related to hippo. So let's go with it. In the jungle, there are different types of animals. Whether they're lions, monkeys, probably chameleons, small bugs. But probably the animal that sticks out the most. No, it's not the snake because you can't really see it sometimes. No, it's not the spider. But it's this big 5-letter animal, the hippo. The hippo is not just like any other animal. It's bigger than most, but soft as well. So in this presentation, I'm going to teach you all the magic of the hippo, because the hippo is not just an animal, it's a way of being. And there's ways for us to talk about that. So anyways, I just invented that out of thin air, right?
Dude, that was good.
That was
I
very
don't think
good.
that was good.
That was very
Oh,
good.
thank you. I appreciate that. You know, hippo's really hard. That was a tough one. But anyways, the key that I'm driving there, this is what we call the random word exercise. So the random word exercise is simple. For 5 minutes every day, you want to pick 5 different words. So like light bulb or friend or best man or wedding or laundry. And you just make presentations out of them. Obviously, a word like hippo is going to be much harder. But then you'll get something like headset, and you can go, headsets allow us to cancel out all the noise in our society. from all the and then you can just add like cool stuff. And then once you do this 1,000 times, well, then you're gonna start speaking like me. Easy.
So you're saying just do this like kind of in your head a little bit, just like by yourself, just walking around or something like that, or like literally sit in front of the mirror, or
Not even for absolute beginners. I would just like voice it out. Just like it's in your basement, it's midnight, everyone's asleep. You're kind of like in the basement. You're just gonna go, oh, camera. Then you go lights. You just make some shit up, right? And then as you
Hmm.
get better, then what you can do is then you could partner up with someone and then get someone else to pick the word for you because that's obviously a lot harder because I don't know what you're gonna say. And then from
Right.
there, then you can move again and start recording and all that stuff. But it's just a quick way, an easy thing for people to do without committing too much to public speaking.
hmm.
That's a great one. I liked that.
Gotcha.
Okay, so one more question. So do you train people to get rid of the likes? Because a lot of people, like Eric, will in like a 20-second period, there'll be like 100 likes, like. And I remember when I was like a kid, and like I just said it or whatever.
You've said it a
Now
few
I'm
times.
noticing it. Now I'm noticing it. As a kid in school, the adults would always point that out. They'd always say like when you're saying it a lot. I don't know, but now everybody does it. Do you train people to pull those likes out of there?
Absolutely. So the way that I kind of see this, a good analogy to public speaking is it's like juggling 18 balls at the same time. So eye
Hmm.
contact, audience mastery, vocal projection, vocal tonality, and all that stuff together creates public speaking. So what I teach people to do, and it's the formula I want everyone listening to follow, is do not get threatened or intimidated by the 18 balls. The way that I'm able to
Hmm.
juggle 18 balls is I started juggling one at a time. Started with eye contact. I was like, can I do, even I say like, right? Doesn't even matter, right? Can I do like eye contact and just look at everybody? Okay. Second ball, ums and ahs. Can I get rid of my filler words? Over and over again. Then when you get to ball 17, now you're just like, whatever. If I say like a couple of times, it's not going to end my life. And
Hmm.
then at the end, then you can tweak out the legs. But the key is to celebrate the small wins and to keep moving forward as you go on. So let's say the likes are one of 5 mistakes that you're making, Brad. I would focus on the easiest one first. Let's say it's eye
Hmm.
contact, and then slowly over time, then we can knock out the last one.
Gotcha. I see. Eric, you got anything?
No, not really. Do you want to plug anything or?
I mean, yeah, if you guys have any questions or insults or comments, feel free to message me on Instagram. I'm not famous or anything. I'm at Master Your Talk. If you have any questions about public speaking, if you want to check out my YouTube videos, that's Master Talk in one word.
Rock
Well,
and
dude,
roll.
thank you so much. This was educational, and I don't know, somehow it gave me some confidence too, like some exercises. So I
There you go.
appreciate it so much.
Of course, you too. My pleasure.
Thank you very much,
Thanks,
man.
man.
All right, you too. Take it
Ha-
easy.
Have a good one.
You too.
Yeah, all the best.
Boom. Rock and roll. Awesome.
All right. Woo! That was
Very,
good.
it was a very good guest. Yeah.
I think so.
Heck yeah. I liked that one. Ah. Well,
He'd be a good coach.
yeah, I like that guy a lot. When
Yeah.
I did some research into him, but then I don't know. I get to a point when I'm researching someone, I don't even want to research them that much
Yeah.
because I want to be interested in what they're doing. I don't want to sit and watch hours and hours of YouTube videos and then be like, oh, okay, well, I've already, you know,
Yeah.
got
That's
got the
smart.
gist of him.
Yeah, that's smart. I mean, public speaking is a fucking god awful nightmare. I even think about people's funerals, and I'm like, could I say? I don't even want to say something at a funeral because it's like too much of a public speaking thing. So it's a fucking terrible thing. I find it way easier on a podcast.
See, I was
If
gonna say,
if you told me
are you
10,000 people were listening to this, I would be just the same as I am right now. But if it was a room full of 10,000 people, it's lights out. Call it.
yeah.
Fucking
I
call it
was
a
gonna
night.
wonder,
It's
like,
over.
right off the bat with this Eric and Brad show thing, I kind of like thinking to myself, I'm like, Brad has to be pretty good at public speaking because you seem calm and relaxed and everything. What, you just crumble in front of a group of people?
Yeah, crumble. Well, I mean, I'd probably just be babbling but
Oh.
I'm blacked out. I'm like blacked out. I don't remember.
What's the worst thing you've done? Just high school, or have you had to do any big speeches?
No, just high school. And
Yeah.
even when it's like in workplaces I've been in, and it's like let's have a group talk and stuff like that. It's like it's too many people, kind of thing.
Um. Have you?
I feel like they're just picking. I feel like they're just picking you apart the whole time.
Yeah,
The
and they are.
audience.
Everyone
Yeah.
is. That's all people do
Yeah,
with everybody.
yeah, yeah.
Would
So that's fun.
What would happen if someone asked you to do the best man speech? Would you just freak the fuck out?
Yeah, I'd be nervous. I'd be a nervous boy. I probably wouldn't drink a single drop. I'd probably write the whole thing out and go off notes.
Yeah, I winged the whole
And
fucking thing when I did it. Uh,
how'd it go?
Dude, it was bad. I fucking got so fucking drunk the night before. Stupid drunk. The whole place was up until fucking 4:30 in the morning the night before the wedding. And fucking,
Wow.
oh my God, my head hurt so fucking bad. I didn't know if I was going to be able to do the wedding. Like, I was, until the last minute, I was laying down, just like, and then got up, and it went good. I just wish, it's the same thing with this show. It's like, I can tell a noticeable difference when I don't drink the night before, or don't,
Yeah.
get drunk the night before. I do a lot better.
Yeah.
I'm clear-headed. I know. I
Yeah.
watch back that I watched someone, obviously someone filmed the best man speech.
Mm.
And it was good. It was good. It was a really good story I had prepared. It took me like 4 months to just come up with a story, and I nailed a really good story. And so that it was funny because it was a true story between me and the
Right.
wife that had taken place, and so that did
Right.
good. But then the beginning and the intro and outro were not good because I just felt I had no real message, and I didn't put no note cards. I just was like, "Here's the story. I'll just wing it. I'm good. I'm good." And then I got up there and was just like, yeah. And when I was watching back, there was a lot of ums and a lot of likes and stuff like that. And I was just like, fuck. I was so mad at myself. It was good. It was decent. I mean, for someone, it wasn't one that you watch on YouTube and it's like, whoa, that was really good. You know what I mean? It wasn't one of those at all. But it wasn't like cringeworthy. It wasn't just like, It was just an average. I know I could have done a lot better.
You gotta just wait until you get hit a high note and then just be like, "Thank you." That's what I.
Well, no, and that's pretty much what I did. In the moment, I was like, I should be going longer than this, and I was like, I gotta stop, like,
Yeah.
because it's not going, it's not going up from here. Like, you know what I mean? Like, fucking.
Yeah.
I mean, I maybe was 5 minutes for the whole thing, and I know I should have. You're supposed to go like 10 minutes, is what they say.
It's
10 to 15.
It's interesting thinking about things that he said, because in that speech class you had like a demonstration speech, you had like a persuasive speech, you had a story, and you had other things. I can't remember which. But the best one out of all of them was my demonstration speech, because that was kind of the one where you bring in something that you know about and you kind of teach it, right? And that's kind of what he was saying. How it was like, usually when kids are presenting in school, it's nothing they're passionate about. You're presenting about the fucking, Revolutionary War. And it's like, who gives a shit?
Yeah.
But when you bring in something that you teach that and stuff like that, that was easily my best one of all time. And then the others were just terrible because I just phoned it in at that point. But yeah.
Boom. So this makes me really happy and also really irritated at the same time. So yesterday I applied for a home loan and I got approved for the home loan. So
Damn.
we're good to go. But I started, that was awesome. I was on cloud nine, like, fucking sweet. This is what I've been working towards. This is what I want. I want a fucking house. I'm sick of renting. But then I started looking up, really started digging deep into real estate in Portland. And it's the biggest god-awful bullshit you're ever going to look at in your life. So I was on Zillow, And I've kind of stumbled into something I didn't even know you could do. This is crazy. So have you looked through Zillow, I'm assuming?
Oh yeah.
So if you pull up Zillow and there's a little map and it'll show like little red dots, like this house is here, this house is here, this house is here. If you like click on that map and go full screen with it, and this is on my computer. I don't know if this works on your phone, but I went full screen with it, and then you zoom in and you zoom in and you zoom in, and then you get into like a 2-block radius. It'll tell you information about every single fucking house. Dude, it's kind of creepy. Like, I went down and it fucking said what year it listed for. Fucking showed you all the pictures of the inside of any house, not like ones that are for sale. Every house I could possibly think of said all the information about it, when it sold. But then it just really pissed me off because, like, I want to move in. There's this house I want to move into so fucking bad. It's my old house I lived in. I want it. I want my old house. I love it. It's perfect in every way.
You want to buy
I want to buy it. And I had talked to my landlord at the time. I've mentioned it multiple times. Like, are you guys ever going to sell this house? And fucking, he had said something about how much he had bought it for and when they bought it. And I'd kind of forgotten. And so I looked up his house. I was like, okay, I go find his house. And it says in 2008 or 2012, it was one of those two. He had bought the house for $180,000, and now they want $330 fucking $1,000 for the house. Like, are you kidding me right now? It was the most irritating thing ever. And then after that, I went from like super happy into that, and then it was like, am I an idiot for trying to do this right now? Like, is it just at the peak? You know what I mean? And then I'm going to get into it, and I'm just going to go, everything's going to come crashing down. And it kind of feels that way a little bit with the train. You know what I mean? Train of political shit. Like, this is all just going to crumble down, and I'm about to spend, X amount on that's inevitable, in 5 years going to be worth $150,000. You mean?
Right.
I don't know. It makes me so mad. It makes me so mad.
It's crazy because my old house, I would want to buy as well. And the thing is, I was living in it, and the landlord said, "I want to sell it. Do you want to buy it?" And I said no, and I moved out. And then she sold it, and then I was like, "Fuck! I should have bought that house."
Yeah, you should have.
I should have bought it. It was perfect. It was the greatest. It was the most perfect house.
You know what's gonna happen?
And
is Idaho's about to get flooded. Dude, I hear whispers. I'm here in the shit, and I hear whispers. Everyone's sick of this shit. Portlanders, and it's the same shit in fucking California. They're all done with this. They're all done with all this bullshit. They're sick of the housing cost. They're sick of, the political climate. It's so ridiculous here. And fucking but I mean, a lot of whispers, and Idaho is coming up a lot in conversation. Like, right now would be a real good time to buy in Idaho. Like, you're going to make money. And that sucks for locals. People that live there, you're about to get real mad because you're not going to make any more money, and your rent is going to continue going up.
Yeah, well, it's already flooded. It's already been flooded. My mom says there's people from California buying houses up there without seeing them for cash.
Yeah.
Cash money.
Well, you can't. Down there, a crappy 2-bedroom house is going for $800,000, $900,000. You know what I mean? Like a crappy house. You know what I mean? Like,
fucked.
And then they sell that house. They get the equity off of their house for, $250,000. Now they can go to Idaho and straight pay cash. Like, buy it outright.
Yeah, a nice fucking house.
A nice house.
A nice house. Yeah, I've seen that before. It just shows you the sale history, of every house, whether it's for sale currently or not.
Well, it's just kind of creepy that you can see, if they've been on the market at all for the last 20 years, there's pictures of the whole interior of their house. If you were a serial killer, you're just like, okay, there's that room, and there's that room. Okay, I got this down. You know what I mean? Then do a quick Google Maps search, and you're like, okay, nothing's changed. We're good to go.
That's ridiculous.
I don't know.
Okay.
Okay, go ahead.
So should I tell a story?
Woohoo! Yeah, let's do this thing. Secret story time. Brad's secret story time.
Okay, so I don't want it to sound like I'm bragging at all. It wasn't a good thing that I did.
Okay, I'm into
and
it.
I don't want. It's not that bad. I don't want this show. We're not anti-cop on this show. I don't want it to come off like I'm anti-cop because I'm not anti-cop. One of my best friends is a cop. He was my roommate. We lived together. He wasn't a cop, and then he became a cop while we lived together. I don't know. I don't have a problem with police officers. I have a problem with bad police officers. They can go fuck themselves. But most cops, I like. I don't have a problem with. All right?
Okay. Jesus. Okay.
So this was a long time ago, probably 08, 09. I was a young child. I was probably 17 or 16. And I had a fucking real weird high school experience, which I'm sure a lot of people did, but we can get into it at another time. It was just a lot of craziness. And there was this time when I was pulled over and ticketed for running a stop sign. And I don't even remember where this was or whatever, but for some reason I was real upset about it because I felt like I didn't deserve to be ticketed. I deserved a warning. Anyway, so I went home and started a Facebook page called I Hate Sandpoint Cops. So Sandpoint's the town in Idaho that I used to live. Sandpoint Police Department. So I started a Facebook page called I Hate Sandpoint Cops. And because I was mad. And it was stupid. It shouldn't have happened. Anyway, so the people start coming to the page, right? And I was fucking stupid cops, fucking pulled me over, man, fucking gave me a ticket for running a stop sign. It's complete bullshit. The cops in this town don't have anything to do, so they're doing this or whatever, and I say my story. And then other people start posting their stories. All I had was a tiny little fucking piece of a leaf, man, and you fucking gave me a charge, da-da-da-da-da. You could have let me go, and people start posting stories.
Uh-huh.
And I'm like, great, this is exactly what I wanted. And which is just ridiculous. It's just, I didn't have anything better to do either, looking back, So okay, so that's happening. And then I'm sitting in a parking lot one day of a pawn shop, up to no good, by myself, and my cell phone rings and I answer it, hello. And the guy on the other end is like, hey, is this Brad Robertson? Like, yeah. He's like, hey, my name's so-and-so. I'm from the Insider or Inlander in Spokane. I think it's called the Inlander, like a newspaper. It was like one of these. It was like a thicker newspaper, but it was one of the ones that was just in these free baskets around town and stuff like that. And he's like, I'm doing a story about this Facebook page that you started called I Hate Sandpoint Cops. I wanted to interview you about it, and then we're also going to interview the chief of police up there in Sandpoint about it. And I was like, what? And he's like, yeah, so why'd you start it? Like, where'd this whole thing come from? And I told him the story, and it made me, in the article that came out in the paper, it just made me sound like a kid, but which is deserving. And then, so this article comes out in the Inlander, and like an idiot, I go around collecting Inlanders and cutting them out and posting and tacking them up everywhere. Like I put one on my mom's fridge, put one on my dad's fridge, put one at work, like on the board where like announcements go. Because I was really proud of it, and it's so ridiculous. And in it, I say the thing: I shouldn't have been ticketed. I barely didn't stop. Like I mostly stopped, and they ticketed me anyway. So that's why I started the page. And then in it, at the end, the police chief says, like, we hope that this individual will, like, look back on this as a mistake in the thing. And I was like, fuck that guy, man. And so I was like, God, it's just crazy that they found me and they wanted to do that.
That is nutty.
Yeah, it's real nutty. And then there was a situation where there was a fight that happened that I wasn't involved in, but I was there. It was between two other people, and I eventually was talking to a cop later that night. Like, I wasn't in trouble, but I was talking to him, telling him what happened or whatever, and he was like, hey, aren't you? And I'm like, yeah. He's like, oh, like, we all are aware of who you are. And he's like, but dude, He's like, I get it. I completely get it. He's like, cops in this town don't have anything to do. There's a huge breakdown. The adults don't have anything to do but drink and go to the bar, and the cops don't have anything to do but just follow them around, follow those people around and stuff like that. He's like, I totally get it. I'm like, God, he's so cool, man. That's one of the cool ones. And then I was talking to my boss at the restaurant I worked at about the Facebook page, because they were still getting all these posts all the time of people's stories, testimonies, if you will. And after the article came out and stuff like that, and I was just like, I don't know if I should still have this page. And my boss was like, you shouldn't. He's like, here's what's going to happen. Someone's going to do something stupid, and somehow that Facebook page is going to be involved. Either they're going to post it on there, or they're going to bring it up, in real life, and you don't want to be caught in the middle of it. He's like, that's what's going to happen. I was like, fuck, man, you're right. You're absolutely right. So I deleted it.
How many people were on the page?
I don't remember.
Huh.
Enough that somehow the fucking newspaper heard about it.
That is crazy.
The newspaper in Spokane.
That is nutty. That is
It was
so
dumb.
bananas.
I regret it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm not against cops, but, I mean, I don't know. Sandpoint cops are kind of ridiculous. It's funny to me because you come to other places and everyone says that. I've noticed that any town you're in, they're all like, oh, dude, we have the worst cops in the world. And I'm like, no, you don't. Like, not at all. What are you talking about? Like, this isn't shit. Like, I've never been pulled over. I've been pulled over one time. I've been here 6 years. I'm like, cops aren't that bad. And I've definitely left a bar at 2 a.m. and still never gotten pulled over. Like, it's not that bad here. But I mean, I get what you're saying, but there is a little bit of an issue in Sandpoint of like,
I feel like
they go
more
real hard for something.
I feel like there was more
dumb.
of an issue back then, and that now it's not as bad.
Well,
because I just moved.
I don't know.
I just moved 2 years ago from there, and in the past few years, it wasn't that bad. But back then, when I was in high school, I feel like it was really bad. And I was like, I gotta do something about this, man. Someone's gotta do something. And it was fucking ridiculous.
I think the main thing with Idaho, just in general, is, I agree with everything you're saying with cops and stuff like that. Like, I have no hatred for cops. A lot of times, especially as time goes on in this world we're living in, this anti-cop world we're living in, for like the last year, every time I see a cop, I kind of want to like go up to him and be like, dude, like, not all of us hate you. You know what I mean? Like, say, like, because I know that they just walk downtown. Anybody that's between the age of 18 and 35, they look at you and they're like, he hates me. You know what I mean? He wants to see me beaten in the streets, type of thing. But I will say, and I feel bad for most of the cops I see, especially in Portland, but there is a huge issue with marijuana in Idaho. That's a real fucked thing. You know what I mean? Because it's like, it shouldn't, it should fucking be legal. It's not hurting anybody. I don't give a shit even driving a fucking car. Like, I don't think it really impairs you to drive a car. If anything, it's making you more, whatever. You could say what you want about impaired driving, but it's not hurting anybody, essentially across the board. There's really no fucking argument for it. And Idaho is cunts about it. They're so, I don't know. And they do so many times. You do not fucking like, oh, if you have a little bit of pot, just hand it over, everything will be fine. Fuck that. They're lying to you. Like, fuck that. In Idaho, they're lying to you. Yeah. You are getting a charge. Like, that's a bullshit scheme so that they don't have to get a warrant to search your fucking car. Yeah.
I mean, I've heard stories of that happening to people. Of my friends being like, he said that, so I trusted him, so I just said, yeah, it's in there. And then it was like, they went to jail. It's like, fuck.
Yeah.
Shouldn't have trusted him. Yeah.
But I hear you, Hacken. Yeah. I understand that story. I get why you would delete it, and I understand, like, I understand supporting police. I do support police officers. I think they're great. I do think there's a bunch of pieces of shit out there. There's some racists out there. I do think, my opinion, I do think there is more in Sandpoint. I think there's a lot of shitty cops in Sandpoint. I don't know what it is, but a lot of real assholes.
Yeah, well, my buddy's not, but it's just weird that it led to the newspaper article. That's kind of the only time it got funky. it was weird that I just got a phone call. It was like,
That is
what
crazy.
the
That is
fuck?
crazy that it got
From
into.
Spokane. Yeah.
Yeah, that is nutty.
Anyway. Yeah, and it took an adult, like a sensible adult, who was very influential on me to be like, this is what's going to happen. And I was like, fuck, you're right. You're absolutely right. I'm so glad that I just fucking said, I'll just delete this. But I shouldn't have done it in the first place. And I don't want to sound like it was bragging, like I bring up my videos I've made with views and stuff like that. And that's why I kind of didn't even want to go into it, because it's kind of in the same vein of
Oh, whatever.
those things I brought up. But it was also, I feel like, almost kind of in the same vein of what you were talking about last week. I don't know. I'll think of some better stories for the future.
Yeah, I mean, kind of in the same vein. It really doesn't paint you out to be a real piece of shit, and mine did. So, you know.
It just paints me out to be a stupid little child. But I was all fucked up at the time and shit like that. It's ridiculous.
Hey, something I wanted to bring up, talk to you a little bit about is, so I don't know if we were talking about it on the episodes, or if this was a private conversation we'd had, but with playing music, like, what really the only downfall is you'll lose monetization on a YouTube video if we play famous songs. Correct?
I don't know. No, I don't know. I don't know, because I logged into my other YouTube page and I looked at one of the videos that I played stuff on, and that video is off the internet because of stuff that was played. So I don't know.
So you wouldn't want to risk it on an episode to try to just start playing famous music.
No, let's risk it on something else.
Do one of a clip or something like that and see what happens.
Yeah, yeah, if you want.
We're gonna have to. Where did you find that song you played the other day? Where'd that come from?
It's just a non-copyright song
Where'd you get that?
on YouTube. On YouTube, just type in non-copyright music, and there's huge playlists, because that's what Twitch streamers, they just go to YouTube, and there's these hundreds of songs of playlists of non-copyright music, and so they just play those through shuffle.
Okay. Because I
So
want
it's songs that people have made that they don't copyright or anything like that
Okay.
for that purpose.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I'm starting to along the vein of like self promotion and not wanting to go, like what you were just talking about. Like, yeah, I want to stop playing my music at the end of the episodes, because it's like, okay. Yeah, I was just thinking about it the other day. Like, this is getting ridiculous. We need to have something
I
else
see.
playing.
Yeah, just go search for non-copyright music. But like how, like Joe Rogan says, like, oh, we can't play that. Maybe
Yeah.
because he's trying to monetize.
Well, yeah, that's his
videos.
moneymaker right there.
Yeah, I just don't know. I don't think you can just play music. I don't know.
That brings me.
We'll have to test it out.
That brings me to another thing. Well, we'll just do the non-copyright shit, as
Yeah,
outro stuff.
yeah.
But
Yeah,
that brings
some of
me
it's
to
not
another
bad.
thing: is are you able to monetize your video that you got 30,000 off of? Because isn't it 5,000 is when you can start?
I don't know. I think maybe it's 5,000 subscribers or something. I don't
Not
know.
5,000
I'm
views
not.
on a video.
No, I don't think so. I mean, I'm not monetizing it.
Okay, you should monetize it.
It's only at 31,000.
I think you're able to
Roughly.
monetize it. I don't know. I was thinking about that. I was like, I wonder if he is.
Plus, it gets like 150 views a day.
There we go. If you're getting fucking 5 cents a view or something, that's boom.
5 cents.
Or whatever it would be. I have no idea what the money works at. I want you to do it just
Oh my
because I
God.
want to know how it works.
Yeah, I don't know. Don't know.
The only other thing I have on my list, which is a weird, just conversation I had over the week, and I think it's just
Yeah.
when you grow up, just like it's just one of those things that happens as you get older. Is I do not even want to take a shower with a girl. You know what I mean? That sounds horrible. Like, whereas when I was 18, 19, 20, 21, it was like this taboo thing to go do, and it was like awesome. Like, now I'm to the age, like, no. Like, I don't. get the fuck out of here. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm here to do something. I'm already irritated with how long it takes to take a shower.
Yeah.
Dude, I would spend a lot of money if it was like Jetson style, to where I could just do an X and just walk through something and just come out the other side perfectly clean. Like, oh, I
Like
would
a
kill.
car wash.
I would kill. Just bam, get it done in 10 seconds. Just boom. Same with brushing your teeth. If you could just, I've always wanted to get like a thing, like a thing. You just like bite down on, and it just brushes all sides at one time, and just
Do they have those?
I don't know, but I've always been like, why do you
Oh.
just bam, throw it in, and it just brushes everything all at once, and then you just do it for 10 seconds, and then just bam, done. Everything's done. Maybe
That's a great idea.
maybe you could stick your tongue into it too, and it just does all of it all at one fucking time.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, well, it would have to get the inner cheeks as well. So it couldn't, like, if you bit down on it, it couldn't just go inward. It would have to
Wait,
go in
you
and
brush
out.
your cheeks?
No, I'm just saying, like, let's just clean the whole mouth while we're in there.
I was
So
about to
you'd
say,
have to
are
be
you
like-
in there fucking?
No. But I'm saying, like, it'd be bad if it sealed off the outside, the inner cheeks. I'm just saying, like, close your mouth and have it go everywhere.
Well, no. So you do that. You like you get some toothpaste on the top and bottom, stick it in, maybe some in the middle where your tongue's gonna go, and then it does all of it, and then you pull it out, and then you rinse your mouth out, and then
Oh.
there'd be a bunch of soap in there, and you just
Okay.
and then that's gonna get the insides of your cheeks,
That's a good idea.
right?
I'm with that.
That and the walk-through shower. Someone really needs to spend some time working on this, like the Dyson where you dry your hand, and something like that. You know what I mean? Just Dyson's gonna be the ones that do it. You just walk in one
Dyson.
side of the shower and then fucking bam, out, dry, clean, awesome, done. I hate how much time it takes. The only good thing about it is that's where I do a lot of listening to podcasts. You know, I'm either working listening to podcasts or showering listening to podcasts. And dude, it takes me forever to fucking shaving your head. Another one, dude. To like shower, shave your head, dude. It takes for fucking ever. I'm in there for 20 minutes. You know what I mean? Like, and I wish I could get
Shaving
that.
your head?
It takes me about I'm in the shower for about 20 minutes. I mean the whole process. And then I hate when I have to shave my head. It's just adds 5 to 8 minutes onto it.
Such a struggle.
It is a struggle.
When you could be drinking. This is time.
When
this is
there's beer
time.
there's beer in the shower. Like,
Oh,
come on.
this is taking away from drinking time.
This is
Fucking
taking away from
always.
drinking time. Fuck, this is taking it.
Hygienic.
I'm fucking out of here. This is taking away from drinking.
Fucking hygienic bullshit. No, it's like sometimes my phone is on like 8%, and I'm like, I need to charge this, but I need to shower. But I can't charge this in my bedroom while I'm showering. So I have to shower with the phone and then charge it after. Because of the listening to podcasts thing.
You can't
I don't
have
wanna
your
go
phone plugged in while you shower?
Well, then I would just have to go get the charger and bring it into the bathroom.
You listen to wait a second. You just listen to your phone.
Yeah.
You don't have a fucking speaker?
I do have a speaker, but I just don't turn it on. I just use the phone pretty much.
You can hear
Because-
your phone in the shower?
No, there's a mount in the shower that I set it on.
You take your phone into the shower with you?
Yeah.
Like, do you do stuff on your phone while you're in the shower?
No.
But why is it in the shower with you? That doesn't make any sense.
So that I can hear it.
Dude, you need to rethink what you got going on there. No, get your speaker and just put it in the bathroom and then Bluetooth and leave it plugged in. That doesn't make any sense.
The speaker stays in the bathroom. It's already in there. I just don't turn it on.
So why is the speaker in the bathroom?
Here's the problem. Okay, it's too loud. It's too loud. So it's like it's suffocating. So I don't like, because I'm always paranoid that I'm hearing things while I'm in the shower, like paranoid someone's like breaking into the house.
Oh, now it's all making sense. You're just paranoid.
So what I would do is I would play music, this is a giant speaker. I would play music, turn the speaker on, and then like it would just like the whole world would go away except for the bathroom. And then I'd be
Uh-huh.
paranoid that shit's happening, like my dog's being killed, like literally in the living room while I'm in here. So I'm like, okay, I need less volume. So it just worked out. I bought on Amazon a little thing you just set your phone on in the shower, and I just listened to talk radio. You know what I mean?
I get what you're saying. You're freaking out about just lock the door, man. Nothing's gonna happen.
It's still
You're not gonna hear anything in the shower anyways. Even with zero noise, like just quiet shower time. If someone's in your house, like doing something, or it's on fire, you're not gonna know until shit's going crazy anyways. Someone could walk. I mean, when I'm in the shower, I can't hear shit. Someone could come in, make a full meal, and fucking leave my house, and I would have zero idea that anyone was even in my house.
I mean,
with no music on. So you might as well
I've
just
been
have
in
the
there and
music on.
I've heard people knock on the front door while I'm in there.
Oh, I wouldn't hear that
At least
shit at all.
At least I think that's what I heard. I mean, I thought I heard it,
You're a crazy person.
so I get worried. Fucking,
It's
a good system I have. I don't even know how we got on that.
Would you ever
I
do
don't
it?
know. I don't want to take my charger and go get my charger, bring it into the shower. Just let the phone stay at 8%, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. Okay, time to get out of the shower, then go plug the phone in. Whatever. It's a crazy world. And,
It's a crazy world in Brad's world. I'll tell you what. You got some things.
Everybody has their own Vietnam. We all have our own shit we have to fucking figure out in this life.
Eric and Brad Show, episode 15. Fucking thank you guys for listening. Again, Spotify, iTunes. You've heard the rant. You've heard Brad's rant. Fucking leave us comments. YouTube, iTunes. Rate us on iTunes. We would appreciate it. We love all the subscribers you get. If you turn anyone onto the show, of course, we love you very much. Thank you guys very much. I hope you guys are having a good day. We'll talk at you later. Okay, bye.